This is the EVP Podcast. Well, hello, everybody. This is the EVP Podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, DVO, and we have...
I'm Beaker.
I'm Ghosty McGhostface, bitches.
Hello. Hello, hello, hello.
You guys are starting to worry me.
Welcome back. Anybody do anything fun in the last little week since we recorded last?
What do you guys do when I'm not around?
What do you mean?
You have weird. You're weird all of a sudden. The last couple of weeks.
We've gotten more weirder? Is it a full moon now? Is that why?
No, that was on the 26th of last month.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
I was going to blame it on the full moon.
Oh, the full moon. I know when the full moon was because I made my moon water for my smudge brace.
All right, let's talk about this. So you use moonlight
Yes.
to charge stones, correct?
Charge water.
Charge water.
Well, actually, I put stones in the water,
Okay.
and then I put it outside and used the full moon to charge the water and the stones.
Now, my question is, the moon does not give off light. Am I correct in this?
Correct.
It's a reflection of
Of
light.
the sun.
Yes.
So how does that all supposed to work? Because it's not like moonlight. It's more like reflective sunlight.
Yeah. But it's not
Okay.
as bright as the sun. You can use the sun to charge your crystals too.
Okay, okay.
But I don't know. There's a different energy that comes from the moon
Okay.
than from the sun. I mean, obviously the light's coming from the same place. It's just a reflection of light off of from the sun.
The moon rock energy.
Yes.
Moon rock energy. Do you have any moon rocks?
I feel it. I feel the energy. But I wonder why the people think that makes them go weird when it's a full moon. Is it all coincidental?
It's just when the moon's the brightest.
But does that mean things are a little bit more... People are
You know,
more
that
weird?
is a strange concept now that you brought it up because...
That's what I do, bring up awesome topics.
Yes.
I never even thought of this.
Okay.
It was just like, make moon water. Okay.
Well, here's the thing. If you think about it, it's always a full moon.
Right,
Every
right.
single
Every day.
night.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of the reflection you get off the moon
Exactly.
based off the position of it.
Yes.
Now, is the energy coming from the position of the moon, or is
Okay.
it coming off of people's reaction to the full moon being lit up?
What kind of reaction? Like either they see more or they just...
They see more moon rock, and now they want to freak out.
So, I was listening to Neil deGrasse Tyson on Joe Rogan's podcast, and he was talking about if a baby is conceived on a full moon and they go full term, they'll be born on a full moon. And
Okay, well, that's just based off time and
right, because I guess it was just
increments.
it was just kind of timing. And so listening to this podcast, and he kind of was I don't remember the exact topic that they were kind of going on about, but I started thinking, yeah, as I started thinking, like it's always a full moon, just the position of where the light's reflecting, and then I started thinking about this whole moonlight, and it's like, well, moon doesn't really give light, but more babies are conceived or born on full moons.
well, I wonder
His
if
theory is because a full moon is just a little bit more romantic, so that's why babies are just conceived more.
I wonder if it has to do with being able to see better at night. That you don't need to put on any sexy lamps.
Very possible.
But so I'm an avid fisherman.
Okay,
The full moon does affect fishing too.
for light purposes.
No, fishing purposes.
Okay, go on.
When there's a full moon,
Yes.
the fish eat more because they can
Yes.
see more.
Right.
So when you try to fish the day after a full moon, it's not as productive.
Right. Okay. Well, I knew that. That's what I meant because there's more light. That's why.
And because they go crazy at night. Because when it's a full moon, they freak out.
The moon energy. Is that
Well,
what-
Yeah,
the fish,
that's
they
how
start having fish babies.
That's how the werewolves come too. Like they come on the full moon.
werewolves are
Or on
real.
your face.
Inappropriate. Inappropriate.
I don't know how we got from like.
It's because I started the episode with my sexy
to
voice.
werewolf
to
ski.
werewolf.
Ghosty gets all
If you
excited
can
about
make the
starting.
correlation, you win a prize. It's like the 6 degrees of separation from Kevin Bacon. Figure out how werewolf skeet connects to moon water, and
You need to make some werewolf spray.
oh my god.
So do you think the reflection from the sun off of the moon gives energy to water and stones?
Yeah, sorry, I wouldn't do it.
What? What?
I said, yes, or I wouldn't.
Oh, yeah, okay.
I wouldn't be used
And,
to
and why?
it.
And why do you think that?
I mean, you're gonna get energy from the sun regardless. I mean,
Okay.
if you put it out in the sun as well.
I mean, vitamin D.
Yes.
Okay.
But I think there's something to do with the moon. Just the way the light comes off the moon changes the energy.
Okay.
I think. That's
Well, I
just
believe
my.
the moon does have its own energy.
I mean, they do. I mean, you're getting the energy from the moon as well. Like,
Okay.
I mean, each. I would say it stands to reason. I mean, all the crystals and gems and stuff that we use for energy work or just whatever. I mean, you're wearing crystals on your wrist right now.
I have an onyx and tiger eye.
So, I mean, we believe that there's energy from the stones that come from the earth, right? So
Yes.
why is it would, for me, it would stand to reason that there's also some sort of energy that comes from the moon. And I think that, and this is me just speculating right now because I've never been posed this question before, but I think with the sun, the way it's reflecting off the moon, you might be getting some of that energy from the moon as well,
Okay.
coming with the light. I'm just totally like speculating right here.
Right.
There's no scientific proof. There's no way
Yeah.
for me to back this up.
'Cause I do think the moon might have some type of energy, but also it's so far away. Will we still feel that? Possibly, possibly not. I have
Well, the
no
moon
idea.
does have a gravitational pull,
'Cause
which
it does-
creates the
it
waves.
orbits around us, right? The moon orbits the
Yes.
Earth, right? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it affects the like you said, the
Gravitational
waves,
pull.
the tides.
Yeah.
You know, minerals do give off an energy, and maybe on a full moon with the sun reflecting off its full face of the moon, maybe it just gives it
Full
more
power.
Full power.
Full power,
Fully
baby.
charged.
Yes.
Fully charged moon rays coming at you.
No, yeah. I mean, it kind of makes sense, but I still am like,
I mean, if you listen to some of these other podcasts or you hear people talk about crystals, like,
Don't listen to any other podcast. What are you talking about? Just this one. Just kidding.
oh my gosh, don't be like the people I used to work with. Yeah, so they'll tell you like you can cleanse your crystals using the sun and the moon. Like when I first started getting into crystals, like one of the things I heard was put them outside for a full 24 hours. So they're
Yes.
getting, so basically they're saying that the moon will cleanse your crystals and the sun will recharge them. I don't actually do that.
Okay.
Part of the reason why I don't do that is because when you have some of the darker crystals like your jet or obsidian or whatever, if you leave it in the sun too long, it's going to bleach it and make it change colors. It's going to lighten it. I don't know if it's
makes
going to
sense.
decrease the potency of the energy on the crystal, but it's going to make it not look as good. I personally just cleanse all of my stuff with selenite. Because selenite cleanses crystals.
So you just take the selenite stone, touch it to other stones or crystals.
In my kit itself that I use for energy work, I've got so many pieces of selenite. And the thing is that you don't always have to have the selenite touching the stone directly. It just has to be near it sometimes. Like if it has a lot of negative energy on it that you're trying to cleanse, then it's best to touch it to the selenite. But I've got so many pieces of selenite in my kit that
It's kind of not always,
Everything is-
always being
They just
cleansed.
tumble with each other.
pretty much.
I have a selenite wand, and I'll go around and touch my stones. Go zap, zap.
Do you say that?
Yep, it goes zap.
Speaking of the sun, why is it so hot lately? Jeez.
Because it's June.
Oh gosh.
Heat wave.
I don't know why people get so excited for the summer. I don't.
don't
It's too
either.
hot for me.
I like it.
I get excited for August
There we go.
because it's my birthday, but that's about it.
Okay.
I get excited for the outdoors and being outside and not having to be cold anymore.
You can do that in spring.
Not as much. It's still a little cold in spring.
Sometimes in the fall.
Yeah.
Still a little cold in fall.
No, it's good. It feels
Nancy.
good.
Well, by the time I'm done fishing or whatever I'm doing, it's like noon and it's getting real hot and I'm done.
That's because you're on low T. If your testosterone levels were higher, you'd
Oh,
feel good.
I'll be doing that big summer stuff.
Yes.
I'll be going big time summer.
All right, let's talk about this week's episode. So, really wasn't going to talk about this topic again until later, but by popular demand, we were asked to talk again about the Devil's Triangle, also known as the Bermuda Triangle. Specifically, a few missing flights of the Bermuda Triangle. So, happy to talk about this. because I find, again, the Bermuda Triangle very interesting. So in case you still want to just make sure we understand what the Bermuda Triangle is, it is if you take, in case you don't know geometry or
Geography.
whatever, geography, but
A little bit of both.
a triangle has 3 points. And so the Bermuda Triangle is best estimated as the islands of the Bermudas connected to Puerto Rico and then back to Miami, Florida. So it is about a I wrote it down actually, 500 square miles is the size of the Bermuda Triangle roughly. So because some people kind of move the points different parts, but roughly about that. So we're talking about a few flights that are kind of mysterious, paranormal, creepy, spooky. So, Ghosty, you're going to do our first one, I believe, right?
Oh, on Flight 19?
Probably the one that really sparked up the whole myth around
That's,
the
yeah,
Bermuda Triangle.
I guess what created the Bermuda Triangle myth.
Yes.
And it was called Flight 19.
Easy over there.
I'm going to
Calm down.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Supposed to swallow.
It was a what? What's going on over there?
No, you and your swallowing
They
techniques.
swallow.
All right. Well, this was a mock bombing run where there was 14 passengers on board. Where they had, it was a TBM Avenger torpedo bomber.
Cool
There's
name.
5 of them.
Yep, 5 of them.
5 of
Five
them.
of them flying around, right?
19 pilots total.
But there were 14 on this one.
14 passengers.
14 passengers.
Total. Flight 19, 14 passengers.
And
Yes.
mysteriously went missing while on this little test run. Let's see. When they went missing,
Oh, no.
I believe. Let's see. They were heading. Where were they heading to?
I believe they were making a run towards. So they were leaving Fort Lauderdale and heading to, I think, the Bermuda.
They're
the
supposed to be going
Bahamas.
to the Bermuda, like, yeah, what you said.
And it was. Let's see. How long was it supposed to be for them to reach their destination?
Like 2 to 3 hours.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be like, they went out so far, they're supposed to turn north and, like, drop their bombs and then turn and come back.
and it was
they're
just the
all-
weather was really bad.
It wasn't even that bad. I mean, it was
No.
kind of cloudy, but
Yeah, weather didn't turn bad till at night. That's when weather turned bad.
That is crazy. And so while they were out there, they just stopped.
So their
signaling.
compasses, all their compasses on the planes,
They just
went
start going
awry.
crazy.
Yeah.
And so they lose complete track of where they are in the sky.
Yeah, so imagine you're in the middle of the ocean, everything looks
Everything
the
is
same.
identical, especially if the sun's right above you.
Yeah.
There's no way of telling where it's setting or where it's rising. It's just high noon, everything's 12 o'clock.
Yeah.
one of the things I was reading about or listening to was the way pilots work when they're making their turns like left or right, and they kind of gauge everything on the horizon, and it helps them determine, like, obviously where ground is, where sky is, and all that. And when you're out over the ocean, sometimes you lose that horizon and you have a hard time.
Yeah, blue waters and blue sky kind of look the same at some
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, and it's really hard to tell how high you are to altitude-wise.
Yeah, that's what the point of that's how important those gauges are.
Right?
So yeah, you can have. So the guy was describing that, like, when that happens, you can have, like, vertigo kick in, and he was saying that maybe you're supposed to be making a left-hand turn, and your instruments will be correct, right? But because you have the vertigo kicking in, you think you're making your left-hand turn, but really you're going right.
That's extreme
Like
vertigo.
your mind thinks you're going the direction you're supposed to be going, but you're actually going the opposite direction because your vertigo is kicking in.
The thing about driving a car and you make a left turn, what does your body do when you make a left turn? It goes right.
You
know what
want
I mean?
to, speaking of driving in vertigo, you know what gets you all sorts of messed up in, like, vision-wise and
What?
vertigo-wise?
Weed.
No, actually, no, it doesn't. When you park into a parking stall, and as you're, like, creeping forward, positioning yourself, and the car next to you starts reversing.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Oh my God, how trippy is
Yeah,
that?
you're like, well, what just happened?
I hit my brakes off. What's happening? Start seizing and everything.
Car wash can do that too.
No, same
Driving
thing
through
yeah.
a car wash.
at a
Yeah.
stoplight too. If the car in front of you or next to you starts rolling forward and you feel like you're going backwards,
Yeah. Yeah, that trips you out. No, it's crazy if they start going backwards.
You're like,
You
why are
start
you
thinking you're creeping forward.
into traffic?
Yep.
But yeah, they were supposed to be out over the Bahamas, and I guess the main guy that had over like 2,000 hours worth of flight time.
Yeah, Taylor.
Lieutenant Taylor. He was kind of running the thing, and they think that he might have been letting like one of the newer guys kind of lead the training.
Yeah.
Like, so they did have like, I think there was Lieutenant Taylor that had like 2,000 hours. There was like 4 other guys that had a lot of hours that were kind of
And this was
more
also
experienced.
1945.
Yeah.
Yep.
So-
December 5, 45.
So the gauges that they had probably weren't as cool as what we have now.
No. No,
Most
probably
definitely.
not. But most of the guys that were there only had about 20 to 30 hours of flight time.
But speaking of that, you're just talking about gauges nowadays. I was just watching another video of a pilot. This is in May of 2021. And he's out just kind of flying around, going through the Bermuda Triangle. He wasn't like trying to do any tests or anything. He just shows videos of him in his flights, and he's got cameras all over his cockpit. I mean, it's a small plane, and he's got cameras in the cockpit showing him from different angles. He's got a tablet in the middle of his steering wheel. I guess I don't know that's what you call it on a plane, but I'm guessing it's called the steering wheel as well. And he's got a tablet there, and it's showing like a map. I don't know. He's got some type of special map, but he's screen recording that, and then he's got cameras mounted that are kind of showing out on the wings. So he's got all these cameras around him, and he's flying. This is May of 2021, and all of a sudden he goes, "Well, there goes another engine generator." Or yeah, I think he said the engine generator just went out. He's like, just brand new, just put it in. Now my engine generator just went out while he's in the Bermuda Triangle. So even with technology nowadays, things happens weird to people's electronics in the Bermuda Triangle.
Wow.
I think they pretty much just had like compasses that they were using back then. I mean, I'm sure they had
Yeah.
other stuff, but I mean, they mainly relied on compasses for this particular flight.
Yeah.
So there seemed to have been a ship that saw an explosion out at sea around the same time that this had disappeared. Is that
No.
correct?
That was the search party.
That was that was when the search party went out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so because they had gone out for, let's see, they went for 3 hours. They were gone, right?
Which one?
Flight 19.
So it was supposed to be 3 hours. They left at 2:10 p.m. that afternoon, and then they were supposed to do their little route, and they were supposed to be back within 3 hours. I think it was about 5 or 6 hours before they finally vanished.
Yeah, they were in communication, but they just seemed lost. You could hear them. I heard some of their communication. They just kind of seemed totally off, and obviously with their compasses going screwy.
Okay, so here it shows the plan was scheduled to take them due east from the Naval Air Station in Fort Lauderdale for 141 miles, north for 73 miles, and then back over a final 140-mile leg to complete the exercise.
Yep.
And
They were doing more of a right triangle.
their locations last given at 75 miles northeast of Cocoa, Florida, and at that time they had just over an hour of fuel supply left.
Yeah, so there was a point where Lieutenant Taylor said, he was just saying, "Hey, get together because if one plane gets below 10 gallons, we're all going to land together. So we're always together."
Yeah, and the reason for that was if any plane had a ditch, if they had to go down, they wanted all the planes to go down at the same spot. So if a search party or when the search party came out, it would be easier for them to find everybody instead of having to search for all these different locations. But like they actually had, I think it was another lieutenant that was getting ready to run a different training group after the fact. He intercepted some of the transmissions, and so you had this Lieutenant Taylor who was just like, "I'm lost. I don't know where we're at." He's like, "I see some broken pieces of land." He's like, "I think it's the Florida Keys, which is in the complete other direction."
That's the very south part of Florida. Again, they're supposed to be heading north towards the Bahamas, and he thinks he's seeing the Keys down south.
Yeah, they've took off flying, east.
Yeah.
The Keys are on the west side, on the other side of Florida.
Yeah, and he kept saying if we start heading east, we should start hitting land, but that would actually would take them more
Further
out to
out
the
into the
ocean.
ocean, yeah.
So here's a weird part. He actually, Lieutenant Taylor, he normally flies out of Miami and not Fort Lauderdale, and so they think that he might have got confused that he was still in the Miami area. And so if he was on the West Coast, flying east would have taken them into the Keys or into Florida.
Yeah.
So there's some speculation that he actually also got confused when he took over from the training pilot, the trainer pilot, I should say. Yeah, no, training, the trainee. Sorry,
Yeah.
the trainee pilot. When he took back over control, he actually is confused where he was at. He forgot he flew out of the east side of Fort Lauderdale, not from Miami.
Well, and I think some of the transmissions, he was saying that his compasses weren't working properly.
Yes.
I think they even had like a hard time finding these guys on their radar and that. Like no one could really pinpoint where these guys actually were.
Yeah, no one really could pinpoint them, and those 5 planes are gone. There's no wreckage or debris of 5 planes.
Yeah, they just
That is
completely
so
vanished.
crazy.
Yeah. So I mean, so there is some speculation that they went too far out, but they should have been kind of found because they didn't have all this fuel to fly across the country, or I mean, across the globe. I mean,
Right.
They didn't
But
have that kind
if
of fuel.
Were they? Do you think that all 5 of them were they flying together?
yeah, because there's a transmission of Coach Taylor, Lieutenant Taylor,
Coach.
Come here, coach.
Lieutenant Taylor telling everyone to get together, group together, because if one plane gets below, because there's recordings of him saying this, if one plane drops below 10 gallons, we're all landing together, so that they wanted to all stay together. But yeah,
That way, when they
transmission.
landed, they could send up their flares and that for the search
Yeah.
party and just make it easier for the whole group to be found. Instead of having to search all over the place for all these different planes.
Yeah,
Yes.
true.
Which is a great idea. I mean, that's actually was a smart idea from him. It was like, hey, let's stay together, and obviously it'd be a much more visible thing. 5 planes kind of grouped together in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
But
I think these
all
planes are supposed
5.
to be doing good on water too. Like they should have been able to land on water just fine, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, I'm not sure about that, but they sounded pretty positive about it.
And there was, did all these have a bunch like covered like? They all had bombs on them, right?
Yeah, they actually dropped their bombs. I don't know if they were like dummy bombs or actual bombs, but when they were dropping their bombs and they're supposed to be coming back is when they got lost. And like this guy was confused. He thought he was over the Florida Keys, even though that's completely not the direction that
Yeah.
we went. And then I think some of the other guys were like, they were confused because they're like, yeah, no, and
Yeah, they're just following orders, and
pretty much.
maybe even some of them didn't agree. What are you going to
And
do?
if
That's
they
your
were
lieutenant.
over the Florida Keys, if he thought he was correct, would they have had enough fuel to make it back?
From where they were, yeah, because
Right, because the Florida Keys are just right there.
yeah,
But apparently they weren't, and they had a ton more ocean to go over.
Yeah, they
And-
started going east when they started their run. Florida Keys would have been west. Mm-hmm. And
I'm
so
not
he,
saying it was aliens, but it was aliens.
that is one of the theories that aliens
Yes.
plucked them out of the air, and that's the theory for like a lot of these disappearances. The aliens.
My
grabbed
theories
them.
are from underneath. Aliens underneath them.
In the ocean.
Sending signals up into the sky and messing up frequencies for planes.
Yeah, I mean, it is weird that, so there's some people that say the Bermuda Triangle does not necessarily have more accidents or malfunctions or disappearances than any other parts of the ocean. And then some people's like, it's very concentrated in this area. So it's hard to tell what's really
Underwater
happening.
space.
Apparently, there's an average of like 60 ships and 5 planes that go missing in the triangle every year.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes.
I mean, and there's dozens and dozens, but then the thing is people wise, passenger wise, there are hundreds of people that are just gone. No one knows where they are. Hundreds of people. That's
And-
really weird.
So after this had just happened, they decided to send a search party looking for them like the next day.
Like 249 ships or something like that.
Yeah, over a few days,
a huge search party, but a plane, like I was saying earlier, is looking for them, and that also disappears.
Yeah, so Beaker, you want to talk about that one?
Was it a plane or was it a boat?
No, it was a plane.
It was
That
a
was a plane,
plane,
yeah, there
but
was-
then a boat sees the plane.
They saw this explosion, and they went looking for that one too, I guess, and they didn't find any wreckage or anything. That's just like another plane just completely vanished.
Yes.
While looking for these 5 planes that vanished.
Yeah, so it was ST-49. That's the name of the plane, and it was supposed to go do their own routine. And when the word of Flight 19 just totally off the grid, ST-49's little training just became a search and rescue. And they took off, and within 23 minutes of the takeoff, they lost communication, and a ship out in the ocean said that they saw an explosion in the sky, a plane crashes into the ocean and burst into flames, and it was just a burning.
He said an
mess.
oil slick.
Yeah, when they went to that area, there was an oil slick, some debris, but that ST-49 had 13 passengers, and all of them were gone. And now, if you were to say that they were, they did blow up, it's easy to tell that they just, incinerated in the explosion.
It
And
was the aliens.
yeah, or the aliens attacked them. Said, "We do not hear," blow them down.
From the bottom up.
Yeah. So within 24 hours, 27 people and 6 planes are gone. 6 planes, 27 people in 24 hours, pretty much.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's
Pretty-
weird, wild stuff.
Aliens, man. and then these, what I'm calling the star planes. So the star planes, this happened in 1948, the first one. So 3 years after Flight 19. And the first one is Star Tiger. So it took off January 30th, 1948. It had 25 passengers, and they were, I can't remember. It was a British plane, and I think it was a passenger plane. It was going to take people to certain stops. And so Star Tiger is out, and they're gone, or they're out flying, and that one also, they have some communication, but it just goes missing again in the Bermuda Triangle. They think during some of the transmissions that maybe they got kind of taken off course from some wind. So again, I don't know, does that mean they were also having malfunctions with their compasses? I don't know, because during some transmission, it seems like they had kind of gone off course. There's also speculation that there was some service notes, that there was potential of some service problems with the Star Tiger. And someone had noted that it could, I can't remember if it was an engine problem, but it could have caused, there was a potential for an explosion. But the problem is they were in kind of somewhat communication, and as I don't know, it just was, again, just another plane just purely vanished, just kind of lost communication. Nothing found, no debris, no oil slicks in the last kind of area that it transmitted.
It was aliens.
Aliens.
Sounds like lizard people stuff.
So that was 1940. So again,
Lizard people?
lizard people stuff.
Okay, lizard
Total-
people stuff.
Total lizard
so again,
people
Flight
stuff.
19 was in 1945. Star Tiger was in 1948, and in 1949, the Star Lion, another British plane. These are all British planes. These Star planes. They actually had some engine failure, but they still landed without incident. So the Star Ariel was going out, I believe, shortly after. So because of the Star Lion having some engine problems, they said, hey, let's just really make sure we check on the Star Ariel, make sure that one is really, good. That one had 20 passengers, and they had good communication with this plane. They kept saying that the weather was great, the weather was calm, no problems, and I think they were really close to their destination, and no more communication. No problems with the plane, because again, they serviced this plane shortly before it took off because of another plane's problems. Everything seemed fine. No reports of any service issues with this plane, the Star Ariel. But again, I think it's maybe like an hour away from its destination, and it's just gone. And that had 20 passengers. And again, the Star Tiger had 25 passengers. All of them gone. No debris, no oil slicks out in the ocean. Just vanished.
Aliens.
Aliens.
It's also in the 40s.
Yeah, 40s, baby.
All of this is in the 40s.
Right before the U.S. made that deal with the aliens.
Aliens.
Now, someone made a claim that these star planes were possibly sabotaged. So
By
one
Star Killer Base.
there was I can't remember
stole
somebody
his name.
that got fired from the British airline. I don't know exactly what it is, but they said that they claim to have seen a well-known war saboteur around the planes. I don't know how true that is, but Prime Minister Attlee
Pretty sure it was the Germans.
could have been, but Prime Minister Attlee did order that no more inquiries go into these planes. So the British Prime Minister said, "Stop looking into these
He's
planes."
just working with the Germans.
Or
I
the
don't know.
aliens.
Or the aliens.
Or the aliens? I don't know.
The U.S. aliens.
Going back to Flight 19, though, there was reports that towards the end of the night, so the whole day for Flight 19 was a pretty solid, good day. But towards the end, as the night came, winds and storms might have came up during the night.
A lot of hurricanes go through that area.
Yep, that's the Atlantic for you.
Some of the natives are saying that the weather can change just like that, like in a minute's notice.
Because of
The weather's
aliens.
so unpredictable because of the aliens.
They'll do that.
Or the volcano that's underneath the water.
Super volcano?
Super volcano.
Well, have you heard about this? Was a theory years ago. I remember watching this on TV. There was a person who said that methane gas released from the bottom of the ocean was coming up in bubbles and popping and releasing high amounts of methane that could cause the gauges and planes to malfunction.
Methane?
Methane.
Yep, from the volcano.
I mean, I have heard that maybe there's some type of gravitational situation out there.
Yeah, apparently science has shown that
Poop gas.
these bubbles, these hot gas bubbles that come up from the ocean, can not only affect the instruments, but if it hits the boat just right, it can actually sink the boat.
Yeah, I can see that with boats, but planes, that, I don't know.
Have they ever witnessed these giant methane bubbles?
I don't know. I'd have to look into it because they did talk about that in the.
I would
one
like
of
to
those
see a
documentaries.
giant bubble burst that could take a boat and submerge it. That sounds like quite the bubble.
Like, according to the scientists, it can
Sounds like
happen.
the Kraken.
They don't question science.
Imagine the smell of that giant bubble.
You wouldn't have to. The bubble would kill you.
From the smell
Yep.
or from the aliens?
Both. The alien bubble. Methane. The aliens are farting and
It's,
causing
maybe
shit to
that's
blow up.
the exhaust from that alien city under the water. And they're
Atlantis?
releasing just as much methane as we are, but they're just concentrating it in bubbles.
Someone talk to you now.
You don't like my underwater alien?
Underwater alien
Theory,
farts are sinking ships in the Bermuda Triangle.
Maybe they have a cow farm under the ocean, and they're releasing a shit ton of methane shit gas just like we are.
It's possible like that. I don't know.
No, it's not.
But is
How quick you are to abandon your theory.
He's like, I heard myself say it out loud. Now I retract it.
I never,
sounded-
thought it sounded legit.
Sounded good in my head.
But I think there's some type of magnetic field out there. I don't know, in the Atlantic. I'm not sure.
You know,
But it's
I wonder-
interesting.
We should go out there with the K2 meter. An EMF
In
meter.
a raft?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Like
Let's just bring our paddleboards.
I guess we just have to go just outside of Miami, I guess.
like
is nowhere
Junior
in.
Gonzalez or whatever his name was.
I mean, we just go swimming in Puerto Rico and do it.
Yeah.
Let's go ghost hunt the Bermuda Triangle.
Be interesting.
Be a lot of dead bodies out there, I bet.
Oh,
There's hundreds. There's
I
hundreds.
mean, we could add.
Literally.
We might add 3 to that. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I should pass. Yeah, but there's literally hundreds of dead people out there in the Bermuda Triangle. Well, if they died or they got plucked out of the sky, I don't know.
Well, yeah, the aliens did it.
But it's so weird that some of these are just gone.
I feel like with the technology we have now, we could be sending drones flying out over the Bermuda Triangle at all times with cameras, just recording.
At all times?
At all times. I mean, we have technology now. 24 hours a day, we have technology.
Yes. I don't know.
So we should go to Puerto Rico and fly drones over the triangle.
Again,
No,
this
I'm
is
just saying-
500 square miles.
I'm talking about not just the remote controlled drones, like the long distance drones that the military uses. I mean, but with recordable data that it can gather as it's flying.
Yeah, but I'm saying as it being 500 square miles, I mean, they can only see so much at a time to cover all that.
Imagine
It's a
sending
better use of
500
funds for
drones
the
at the same
military.
time and just recording everything.
I think there might be a better use of military funding.
Oh my God, you don't know nothing then. we have so much disposable money at our fingertips. Let's do this.
Not for the military.
Tell that to the military.
They don't have to. They know this. They know they don't have money.
I'm full of shit today. It's okay.
I like this guy.
So, Beaker, you're asked a question. Did you know?
Did you know that this happened? So this happened on December 5th.
Yes.
The
Flight
night-
19.
Yes, the Flight 19 on the December 5th of whatever year it was.
45.
So 45. So last time we talked about Bruce Gernon, right?
Yes.
His flight took place on December 4th. Eerie coincidence.
It is. I was wondering why that sounded kind of familiar to me when I kept thinking, like, December, what was that? Yeah. I was wondering why that sounded kind of familiar. It was, yep.
So there is a legend or a rumor out there.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no way to prove it, but some people think that because of how bad this Lieutenant Taylor screwed up Flight 19, he might have actually survived, is what they think.
He went in hiding?
And he went hiding, yes.
Like a D.B. Cooper type of thing.
And they're in Bermuda. That I guess they were saying like the Bohemians took him in, and because he knew how bad he messed up and he'd be court-martialed.
Was anybody telling him, let him go? I will not let him go.
Maybe.
Was there a rhapsody?
Yes, this is where it actually came from. Ask Queen. Brian Mays will tell you. No, he won't. But yeah, they think he just like lived a life out there on one of the islands in Bermuda because he didn't want to come home and face a court-martial.
I don't think they made it out there, though.
That's just a theory that people have.
Add this to your theory. December 5th is also National Bathtub Party Day. In case you weren't aware. Adds to the mysterious.
No, I like the International Ninja Day.
That is a pretty damn good day.
December 5th is also International Ninja Day, which is why the flights went missing. It was the ninjas.
Ninja Bathtub Party.
Ninja bathtub party. That's why the flights went missing. It wasn't aliens, it was the bathtub ninjas.
It's an interesting theory. Very interesting theory.
If you're still listening, thank you. Because we're just like rambling at this point. One of the things I found interesting, so all of this happened before 1952, right?
Okay.
So they didn't know that the Bermuda Triangle was a thing then.
Okay, right.
The Bermuda Triangle, so I guess there was some article that came out in some magazine in 1950 that kind of started...
Called it that.
Well, actually, it was 52. It was a different... So there was an article that kind of brought light to all of this goings-on in the area. And then there was a paranormal magazine where the author of this article in that paranormal magazine in 1952 kind of gave it the name, and
It was a fictional magazine that called it... Somebody had wrote about it and called it a Bermuda Triangle, and then this magazine kind of ran with it and gave it that name, like said that was its name.
Yeah, and they just like when they were coming up with this, they just arbitrarily kind of picked points and they're like, look, triangle, and people just ran with it.
Yeah.
I mean, there was no like evidence to back up anything at this point. It was just like a paranormal group or a paranormal magazine was just like, yeah, this is cool. And people were like, yay, let's not... Kind of like it is nowadays. We don't fact check anything. We just go, hey, that sounds good.
Yeah, that's
Let's
true.
do it.
My earliest memory of the Bermuda Triangle is watching DuckTales.
Yep. I remember that that
Like
episode.
a hurricane.
And yeah, they go to the Bermuda Triangle. So like, there's like a lot of these things where I was like, I didn't know it was like a real thing till I got older. I'm like, oh, this is a real thing. No, there's like seriously mysterious things happening out in the middle of the ocean out here like this. But you know, because you hear like this as a kid, and you just kind of think, oh, it's just I don't know, some folk tale or something.
But also because of these damn cartoons, I thought quicksand and lava was going to be a big part of my life, and more of a danger than
The
it really
floor
is.
is lava.
Haven't seen quicksand once.
I have not encountered lava either.
No.
There's also the ROUSs.
What?
Rodents of unusual size.
Oh yes, those guys.
In the fire swamp with the quicksand.
Yeah.
The lightning sand is what they called it.
Yeah, we got to watch out for those bursts of flames that come up from that.
No, I saw that meme on Facebook recently. It's like, growing up, I thought quicksand was going to be a bigger deal than it was. And it had like 4 or 5 different movies where people are singing in quicksand.
Yep. Never seen it. It's quite easy to get out of, too, actually.
Yeah, you just kind of crawl out of it.
It's kind of...
Gonna lay across and squirm.
Yeah, then you're out.
You might lose a shoe, but...
Yeah, no, I remember that in like elementary school. It's just like, quicksand is bad. No, stay away. I've never seen it.
Yeah, I felt like walking through a desert. You were just gonna randomly walk into a pile. Like, oh shit, here it is. This is it. This is it.
Going down fast. Don't move. Don't move. Someone throw me a vine or a stick. That's the only way this works.
There's usually vines around here. Quicksand. Somebody throw me a vine.
In the desert, nonetheless.
Yeah.
In the middle of the desert, someone's got a vine. It's inevitable.
And here we are living in a state that is a desert. Never ran across it once.
I heard of some recently in Lake Powell. Now that the water's receded quite a bit, you got some muddy sand or whatever, quicksand. It happened out there.
Not to nobody.
I'm not going there.
No, I think people got trapped in it.
And they got out. With
Yeah,
vines.
yeah, they got rescued. I
Well,
think somebody
see-
found a vine.
But before they found the vine, with the way things are nowadays, I'm sure there was pictures taken and video.
Oh, I bet
Before
you.
help was
I bet you
given.
while they were in quicksand, they were
like selfies.
They were like
Stuck in
Instagram.
self-sound.
Yeah.
Who would have thunk? Finally happened, everybody.
Quicksand.
Quicksand.
Feeling cute today. Might get stuck in quicksand. I don't know.
Anybody got a vine?
Good Lord.
Oh shit. Well, is that about an episode or?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess just more thoughts on it. Do you really think aliens pluck people
No.
out of these? No? Okay.
No, do you?
I don't know.
Do you?
Okay. Yes and no. Do I think aliens are plucking people out of the sky? No. Do I think there's a possibility that there is something that alien technology could be doing something to disrupt their instruments? Possibly.
Okay.
Possibly.
And like what aspect? Do you think aliens are just kind of out towards the Atlantic and as planes come by, they're like, whoa, stop there?
So, seeing these videos of these UFOs or USOs or whatever they're called, it does make me wonder if there is something that is subterranean here. And if there is something subterranean here, maybe that is where it is. And maybe it does give off some type of energy wavelengths that does disrupt some things.
And so you think aliens are under the ocean in a base, and they're shooting signals up through the ocean up to the sky, but these planes or ships or boats are getting in the middle of that?
I think it's just strange that both ships and planes, both, doesn't matter where they are, high up, elevated, or just right on top of the water. I would like to see if that happens to submarines.
I
If submarines
think it
travel
does.
through there and get the same
Submarines
problems.
do travel through there, and I think I've heard something about it as well.
And with that, now if they are doing, if that is happening to them, now how would methane gas affect a submarine that is completely airtight in a way that is not taking on air? It's not sucking in air. It's completely self-contained with the oxygen that's in it. It's not recreating more oxygen, so it's not sucking anything in.
That's a good point.
So in that aspect, I don't see how methane gas can affect a submarine.
That is a good point.
So I think there's something, because it doesn't matter how elevated they are, they're all having issues. So I don't know. Something tells me there's something more to it than methane gas.
I think there's something. One of the things I was listening to earlier mentioned that like out there in the triangle, there is some sort of like electromagnetic phenomenon that goes on, and
what would
that's-
cause that?
See, that's what I don't know. Because I mean, there was talks of the super volcano releasing these gases and stuff like that and causing the gas bubbles. But I don't know if a volcano would create electromagnetic fields.
Right. I don't
'cause
know
I mean,
what
it's
would
not-
create electromagnetic fields to disrupt instruments that make them. A compass has to have. There has to be an electromagnetic field to screw up a compass.
Yeah, pretty much. Because the compass is always going to face
North.
Your north, unless you've got some kind of
A
magnet.
magnet touching it to screw it up. So it does make me wonder what can cause that strong
In the middle of the ocean.
in the middle of the ocean where we don't have any technology out
Like
there.
in the middle of the hemisphere, pretty much.
What if
yeah.
it was like a meteorite?
Because yeah, I
crash
mean,
there?
Florida is close to
Tonight, maybe.
Kryptonite. Well, didn't we talk about like on the last episode that there was a possibility that there was some sort of like meteorite that crashed in that area?
Even I don't know if we have talked about that.
I don't remember that. I don't remember that. But you know, with Florida being,
I don't know.
I mean, and these islands are all. I mean, it's close to the equator, so we're close to the middle of the hemisphere, nowhere near the poles. Because you would think if
The poles have where the gravitation
north and south pole
is.
Because then I could see something like that. But Florida and the Bahamas and Puerto Rico are pretty close to the equator, so it's like half, like in the middle of the hemisphere. So yeah, gravitational type of fields or pulls or magnetic things in there just they don't make sense in the middle of the ocean. It's very
Peculiar.
peculiar.
We're going to the Bahamas.
So yeah, that's why I don't know. My thoughts are there's more to it than methane gas. There's more to it than natural occurrences, because if that was the case, we would probably see that more often in other parts of the ocean.
Like other oceans, even like the Pacific.
Yeah. I think if this was a supervolcano methane gas situation, I believe there's more than just that one that we have under the water. So there'd probably be a lot more incidences in concentrated locations than just this.
I'm gonna zoom in on Google Maps, see if I can see anything in the middle of the ocean here.
Just
Find
giant
a ship.
crabs.
Water.
A lot of craters and no space
meteorites?
base either.
No space. You can't see
No,
one?
Not on Google.
Not
Maps.
from space?
Nope, not yet. Anyway. Actually, thinking of that, you know, with Google having all these satellites out there, I wonder. So you have an idea of having drones out there, but maybe having like just a satellite focused out there, that might be kind of interesting.
Pretty sure it's the lost city of Atlantis. Wakanda
Maybe they're
forever.
not even lost. Maybe they're still operating down there.
Weren't they like supposed to be in the Gulf of Mexico or something like that?
I don't even know.
I don't know. I don't know where the Gulf, where the
Atlantis.
where the missing Atlantis is.
We need to investigate further and figure out what's going on in the triangle.
Let's dive
Yes.
deep.
Well, there's more topics to come on the Bermuda Triangle because there's a lot of other things. We didn't even talk about
Ghost
missing
ships?
boats. Yeah, ghost ships. We haven't even talked about that yet. That was for another episode. And I think that's the end of this one.
Thank you all for joining. Ghosty, don't play that.
Peace out, butterflies.
Live long and prosper.
Thank you, Leonard Nimoy.
This is the EVP Podcast.